Now, I share that experience to serve as a prelude or setup to speaking about what I've noticed about police brutality. So if you've been following along so far and have an understanding of what learned helplessness is, try to follow along some more as I speak about this. I know this is a long video. Okay, we've seen the videos that have sparked the Black Lives Matter movement. If you haven't seen them, search the hashtags referring to Black Lives Matter to get caught up. Now, with the protests, people going around marching to advocate for change and equal rights, we noticed the police officers becoming even more brutal to prove a point in response to these protests. They tear gas into peaceful protests, shoot rubber bullets at teenagers and at peaceful protesters. They shoot rubber bullets at black people at the stoplight. They push down a black person for no reason, beat them with batons, try to run them down with their cars, arrest them for absolutely no reason. And still, while the protests are happening, while people are advocating for change, still they go around killing more black people to prove a point. Even attacked white people who stand with Black lives and are marching and protesting to advocate for change. For the police doing this, it's to enforce dominance. We already know it's because these police are brainless racists with low self-esteem and they need to be feared because they fear their own lack of importance. But my question is why? Why have they taken that approach? And my answer is learned helplessness. This is their means of social conditioning. Think about it. This is something that's been happening for centuries among different groups of people in different situations. It happens even in the home with what some parents call discipline, which is basically abuse to surrender. The child does something you don't like, you punish them for it. They do it again, the punishment may become more severe to drive fear, which translates into respect for you. But they've only learned to fear your reaction. They feel helpless against your reaction, so they may stop doing it or do it secretly. Secretly, or do it in private. Let's even look at rape. To enforce dominance, the perpetrator tries to overpower their subject. When their subject fights back in any way, whether they physically fight, refuse to participate, or tell them no, they may incorporate different methods to control them. either by becoming violent or trapping them, to make sure that you know there is no escape, taking away all your control by raping you. Leaving you feeling helpless against the rape because you weren't able to stop it from happening. They've now enforced their dominance and achieved subjecting you. If you believe you're helpless, they experience victory. Let's now get back to police brutality and let's see how that aligns here or is relevant here. After countless racist murders committed by the police against black people in America decided enough is enough and retaliated, calling for justice, calling for police officers to be charged for their crimes. Out of anger about their fragile sense of authority being questioned, the police had the nerve to also retaliate by taking the approach to become even more violent, to silence the movement, to instill fear, to make people feel helpless. Even though there are more people fighting for Black Lives Matter than police officers, they try to puff themselves up like an owl or a bear would to appear larger than they are, in a desperate effort to make their target feel like no amount of protests, no amount of petitions is going to bring about any change. They want their target to feel like there is nothing they can do to stop them from doing what they want to do. The police are like rebellious teenagers. Prove them wrong. You are not helpless. Keep the petitions going. Keep advocating for change. Keep advocating for justice. Keep advocating for Black Lives Matter until change occurs and the lives of Black people are seen as equal and valuable to the lives of every race. Learned helplessness is just a learned behavior driven through fear. It's not the truth. I'm not helpless against mosquitoes. I just have to try something else. I'm not helpless when it comes to finding my cat. There are different ways in which I can help. You are not helpless in the face of a perpetrator whose main purpose is to instill fear in you so that they can control you, so that they can dominate you. Prepare yourself for situations like those, whether it be self-defense, martial arts, meditation. Prepare yourself There's a mosquito flying in front of me right now, and I'm going to get it. Okay, I didn't get it, but it doesn't mean I can't get it. There are means out there in which you can prepare yourself. It happened before, it doesn't mean it has to happen again. Use the lesson to get yourself out of the situation. You are not helpless against the police. Change is already taking place. Whatever your situation is, you are not helpless. Whatever your situation is, you are not helpless. Keep going. Okay. All right. Well, that is all I have to say on this. Have a good day. Have a good life. And keep on believing.